one morning we just talked about this with our team, but I think in one morning or from like I think 6 a.m. to like 12 p.m. one morning we got like over 100 calls. And these are, people just confirming rumors. There's a lot of social media posts going around and people call us, and I'm glad that they call us because I rather than call us than repost it. But there are those that don't call us and repost it, and that's why we get all those calls. And I mean, that's what we're here for. That's why we train our volunteers to show up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Only in Santa Clara County. We are a sister project of Only in San Jose, a civic education podcast series dedicated to demystifying and democratizing the process of local government and civic participation in Santa Clara County. My name is Ellina Yin, and I will be your host. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special bonus episode about the Rapid Response Network here in Santa Clara County. I know there's a lot going on, both abroad and here at home across the nation. The breaking news is never ending and disorientating, to say the least. So, while those headlines and breaking news segments will be there for your consumption whenever you get to it, I wanted to share a story that is less circulated, a story that is really being told for the first time since it started all the way back in 2015, 2016. And this story is about the creation of the Rapid Response Network in Santa Clara County. So, the Rapid Response Network isn't a government owned or operated entity, but rather it's community owned and operated. The Rapid Response Network is contracted with Santa Clara County to provide the undocumented community with information and resources on their rights as immigrants and to observe ICE operations by documenting the process. And in the same way that body worn cameras are there to document law enforcement actions. But because ICE agents do not wear cameras, that part is documented by the legal observers within the Rapid Response Network. Now, there are rapid response networks across the nation, and they are all funded and operated within their unique locale. So they're all a little bit different, and the context is different. But essentially, they are providing similar services. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the process, a little quick Civics 101 lesson. So, our government does not do everything. It does a lot, but it doesn't do everything. There are some services that, we might be able to point to and be familiar with, like a lot of us are familiar with the United States Postal Service, your favorite library. Um, from the federal down to the local level, each jurisdiction, whether it be city or county, is shaped a little bit differently. For example, say in the city of Santa Clara, you wanted to improve the road. They didn't have in house department or skills to do the labor of the street paving, so they contracted it out to a private company that specializes in that. So we can think of the Rapid Response Network as something like a community created and led response to what is happening to our immigrant community. Okay, so now let's get started with our episode on the Rapid Response Network. What is it? Why is it important? And how you can get involved. For this episode, we will be speaking with Jesus Ruiz. Jesus is a dreamer and organizer for the nonprofit organization PACT in San Jose, California. And he joined Pangeal's board of directors in 2015 and was part of the creation of the Rapid Response Network back in 2016. And we are very excited to share this conversation with you, not only in English, but also in Spanish. So if you are bilingual and you are curious, you can check out the Spanish conversation in episode 11. For the Spanish version, it is not a direct translation, but rather a completely independent conversation covering the same topic, hosted by Elizabeth Marquez Bernardino for that episode. So, since the beginning, I had always actually intended for our civic education podcast and story podcast to be multilingual. And while we're not fully there yet, we thought this was a perfect pilot considering the topic and relevance of the story to the Spanish speaking community. And lastly, if you are a fan of our work, please hit that like, that follow, leave us a comment. You can also support our work with a one time or recurring donation, including you can also volunteer with us if you like learning about your local government. And now on to our
Welcome. Thank you for
conversation with
joining
Jesus.
us. And can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me here today. I'm very, very excited to be here with you all today. My name is Jesus Ruiz. I am a community organizer in Santa Clara County, mostly organizing around immigrant rights, which I've been doing it since 2012, maybe early 2013. I've been organizing in Santa Clara County around different issues, sanctuary policy, driver's license for the undocumented community in California, and amongst other stuff as well. And the organization that I currently work for right now is Pangea Legal Services, which is a um, immigration attorney law firm. It's a nonprofit, and but we also do a lot of community organizing. It's one of the very, very few organization that started as a legal organization for immigrants. And then it added the community organizing part to it. And that's because they go hand in hand, right? The attorneys could show up when the arrest happened already, but as community organizers, we try to advocate and organize for policies that can prevent those arrest from happening in our communities by passing legislation like immigration reform, which we've been fighting since 1986, right? Since the last amnesty in 1986. And so, yeah, so Pangea's pretty much, we have clients throughout the state. We have some outside outside the state as well, but most of our clients are in California. And so Pangea has been around since 2012, and we're pretty much one of the very few organizations that focuses on deportation defense only, because that's one of the hardest things to work on the legal part for immigration. And so we're very proud of our reputation. We're very proud of our success rate. And with Pangea, we are part of the Rapid Response Network in Santa Clara County. We're also part of different networks. We're part of Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, San Francisco County. But my role specifically is strictly in Santa Clara County. And I've been, like I said, organizing for 12 years. 12 years since 2012. And unfortunately we're back here, from 2020 to 2023, because of the pandemic. We had like a huge like slowdown. Nothing was happening, no arrests. But now since January, we've seen a huge increase.
Yeah, that is a really kind of amazing historical background of your experience and the organization. Thank you for sharing. And I'm really excited to get into these questions. And I'm sure listeners will be as well because this story isn't out there yet. So this is the first time we're telling it. So that's really exciting. Okay. So now let's get into how the Rapid Response Network got started. What is its origin stories?
Yeah. I love telling this story because it just brings me back to like the beginning of it, right? And it feels like it was yesterday, but it was like 7, 8 years ago. Um, so like, the Rapid Response Network, it started the same way for the same reason that the other networks across the country started, and that's after 2016 election results, which we were all like not expecting that to happen. We thought we were being punked, and then it was real. And so because of that, uh, this idea came up. The organizations that were part of it in the beginning were organizations that uh, uh, worked directly with the undocumented communities in Santa Clara County. And some of those organizations are Pangea Legal Services, Amigos de Guadalupe, Sacred Heart Community Service, and PACT, People Acting in Community Together, all Santa Clara-based organizations. And after the elections, we all have we all worked with the undocumented community. We all have our bases of undocumented folks that we organize with. And so, we all came together. Those orgs came together. We brought our volunteers together, which we call them leaders, because they are leaders of their communities. And we just held a space to like kind of feel what was happening. I think for the majority of those folks, this is the first time there was a candidate that just talked so bluntly about, criminalizing the undocumented community, deporting all of them, in the way that Trump was doing it. And so yeah, everybody thought that we were going to see buses and vans pull up to neighborhoods and start picking people up and just, deporting them. It's happened before, but this was like, back in the day. And so we created a space where we all came together and gave folks a safe space to like express what they're feeling and to mourn and to just see that there's a community that has their back. And then that idea came up, people start asking like, like who do I call if ICE is knocking on my door? Like, how do I know if it's ICE? Like who can show up? And then there was an organization in San Mateo that was piloting the idea of rapid response. They called themselves Migra Watch, kind of like Cop Watch, but it was Migra Watch. And so we connected with some of the organizers from up there that were doing these trainings for volunteers. And the first step was to train people to show up when there's a call that comes in reporting that they see eyes. And so we brought those folks in. They started training us to do those trainings. And then, a few months after, we were doing our own trainings in Santa Clara County. And the people that we were training, of course, they were allies. They were, citizens, white allies that were like, this is wrong. I want to put my body on the line. I want to do something. I want to stand not for the undocumented community, but with the undocumented community. It's a very like it wasn't like a top-down feeling, like a white savior feeling. It was more like a like a comrade, like I'm with you on this. And so that's how it started. That's how the idea started. And then we started adding the legal aspect to it, the dispatching aspect to it. Of course, we need somebody to answer the calls. And so then we had, you know, an organization leading the dispatching part of it. We had an organization leading the rapid responder trainings, and then we had an organization kind of coordinating the attorneys that wanted to be involved. I think there were like six organizations at that time, the ones I mentioned, with the addition of Catholic Charities and a few others. And pretty much those were the main three things that we wanted to focus on: answering calls, sending out volunteers, and activating attorneys in case there was some arrest. And then we launched in 20. We officially did like a soft launch in the east side of San Jose only. We went to like the Catholic parishes. We went to different places where, mostly Latino, Story and King, where Latino people congregate. And so we started passing out this yellow cards, they're very popular now. We started passing out these yellow cards to community member, telling them when to call us, why call us. And we launched it only in San Jose, and we started getting those calls. We started getting our feet wet. We started finding the gaps. We started finding what we need to strengthen, like who else needs to be in the space. And I want to say like 6 months after that, and maybe September. I think this was like in June, or May 2017, when we launched in San Jose. And then in September, November of 2017 is when we did our public launch countywide. We had a press conference in Mountain View. where we had, you know, community members from all over, elected officials from all over come and just kind of, you know, join us to launch this countywide. And and it's been truly a blessing being in this space because we've some organizations have gone, others have came, and right now, you know, like I said earlier, from 2020 to 2023, we had like no calls, which a lot of, you know, orgs um opt out of it because they wanted to focus on other stuff. And yeah, and I think what makes what I'm very proud of our network is that the three initial coordinators, the rapid responder coordinator, dispatcher coordinator, and legal coordinator, were all DACA recipients at that time, you know, and the person, and so it was truly a network that was created by directly impacted people for directly impacted people. There were organizations, you know, nonprofits that were, you know, involved, but the folks that were leading the space for those organizations were directly impacted people. And those orgs were trusting these folks to like run this and, you know, because they were the experienced ones. And so that's something that I'm very proud of about our network. And you know, every time I get in a call with other networks, you know, to, you know, share our networks, you know, motto and everything, they always say you guys are like the perfect network. You guys are the perfect network. You guys have it all, you know, like everything. And we take a lot of pride in that. And we're super excited to be in this collaboration. Each I think right now we have like 9 organizations on board, and we are by like so we are governed by like a steering committee. You know, we meet every other week. We Yeah, we meet every other week, and you know, every organization has one vote on whatever it is that we have to vote on, which is protocols, which is funding, which is, you know, structure, which is whatever it is, bring in new orgs, and you know, whatever it is, each org has one vote, and it's very democratic. You know, I've been in different collaborations, different collaborative spaces with different other orgs and other topics, and I want to say this is the best collaboration space that I've seen that I've been in, and that's because we all, you know, trust folks in the space. We respect each other. We respectfully push back, and you know, because when you have 8 organizations in one space, you know, just every mind of its own, it's its own world. So imagine having 8 organizations, you know, and so, but there's always been that respect and that trust, and that, you know, I may not have it my way, but I trust the process. I trust, you know, that I had a say and a voice. And I think that's what makes our collaboration very, very effective. And that's what we've become kind of like the model network for a lot of folks.
That's really amazing to learn and to hear. And one of the questions I had two follow-up questions. So one is, um, how is it funded, and where is that partnership with government and local government? And then the second one is, you said it started in San Mateo County, and now there are other networks. Do you know how many networks there are across the nation right now, or
I don't know how many there are across the nation, but I know they are in the most, you know, in most of the counties in California. You know, Humboldt County all the way up north has one, Sacramento, you know, all the way down, like the whole Bay Area has one, San Francisco, San Mateo, Alameda, Santa Clara, San Benito just created one. You know, just down south, passing Gilroy. Then you get to like Santa Cruz, Monterrey, the Central Valley has one that covers the whole Central Valley. And then you get more, well, Bakersfield's part of the Central Valley, and then you have LA has 2, I believe. Then you get to San Diego. So yeah, I think throughout California, like there's one in every major county. Um, I know there's one in Washington, up north. I know there's one in New York. There's yeah, there's a lot throughout the country as well. And you know, we're just happy to be part of that huge, huge, huge family that supports each other.
Yeah, I think that's it's really inspiring to hear how it got started and from 2016 to now, which is a little less than a decade. It's weird to say that out loud because it still feels like, I still remember the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, and I really thank you for sharing how you work with decision making because I think that's really important. It sounds like a council meeting, like a good council meeting when all the council members are working towards the shared goal of taking care of their people and
Hmm.
they're actually working together but they're also still having discussions. And so
Yep. Yep.
that's really cool to know about their infrastructure of how they support
Yeah.
this work and how they will collaborate with each other.
Yeah. And I know that the reason we work so good is because at the center of everything is our community. And we all have different ways to get to the goal. But the goal is the same. And I think that's why everybody, we're so we trust each other because every organization on the table, our main goal is the community. It's not the reputation of the single organization, right? It's not that. It's the community, and I think that's why we've been able to function so great for this past 8 years. Okay. Um, yeah, so the network, I mean, it's no secret. It's been out there already. It came out already. Press conferences and everything that the county of Santa Clara and the city are funding the rapid response network. Primarily, the county. The city has funded us, and recently they just passed a resolution, I think, to get more funding. And all this funding, it's to legal representation, to people to be on the answering calls, and for people to train others to show up. There's other, of course, like for materials for the yellow cards, we pass 1,000 of those yellow cards across. So, it covers different parts of the network. Um, and we've been fortunate that we live in a county and a city whose elected officials represent the values of the community. There's over 100,000 undocumented people in Santa Clara County, and all of them have families that have roots here, and a lot of them are been here for over a decade, so they have roots here already. And I'm proud to be part of a county and a city that, sees the value in that. And even though we are funded by county and the city, one thing that we wanted to make clear from the beginning of launching the Rapid Response Network is that like it doesn't belong to the city or the county. And we wanted to make that very clear when we are knocking on doors, giving out these yellow cards, telling people when to call, and we want to make it clear because there's still that mistrust in government. And last thing we want people to think is that if they call us, they're going to be calling a government office. And that's why in the beginning, we were calling ourselves the Rapid Response Network of Santa Clara County. Of the word "of" has like a belonging term to it, so then we changed it to "in Santa Clara County," because we wanted to make sure that normally people don't think that it's belongs to the county. We do get funded by them, by them in the city, and they've been great allies to us. But we do want to make sure that community knows that we're not sharing any personal information with government officials, whether if it's names, addresses, phone numbers, anything like that. We're not sharing with them. We share, of course, because they do fund us. We share like reporting, which how many calls came in, how many alerts were created, just numbers of incidents, but not specific names. And we are very, very thankful to the county of Santa Clara and the city of San Jose for funding the network to make sure it's active and ready to respond to any arrests happening in our community. And 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 we're always thankful for their true allyship in this, which is something that, when I'm talking to other counties, especially in the Central Valley, where it's very conservative, they're like, we don't have that, and so and it's something we value a lot, and we hope that they keep supporting our network.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, San Jose is not small. It's not the top 10, but it's a big city, and so is Santa Clara County, and it is I'm proud to be able to say that, our local government is doing the right thing and protecting everybody. So then speaking of the numbers, do you have like since you started or maybe since the program started in 2016 to where it is now, because where it is now is in a much more serious space. Um, and like how many staff, how many volunteers, how many people make up this network?
Yeah. Um, when we first launched in 2017 and we were doing rapid responder trainings, we were not collecting people's emails. We were just I mean, we were collecting their emails, those that attended the training, but we were not putting it in our list of people that had agreed to be rapid responders. So, from 2017 to 2020, I think we had about 150 people call us saying that their family member was picked up by ICE. Um, the number of rumors, I have no idea, but well over like 400
Mhm.
from those times of rumors of people saying, "Hey, I think I see ICE somewhere." The majority of them were false. The majority of them were false, and but we still send people out because we want them to verify that it's a rumor, because once a rumor catches fire, it spreads.
Mhm.
And the only thing that does is it puts fear in our community. And so um you know those were the numbers we were getting. Calls, man, there was time in 1 month we will get like 300, 400 calls, 500 calls. um and then from 2020, because of the pandemic, we were not seeing any. I think for like 2 years straight, we got no calls. We went from getting like at least one call a week to like getting no calls for like a year and a half, 2 years. And then, barely started picking up. I want to say May 2024 is when we started seeing, more calls come in. And uh January 2025, it's just been kind of out of control. Um, I think one morning, and we just talked about this with our team, but I think in one morning, or from like I think 6 a.m. to like 12 p.m. one morning, we got like over 100 calls. And these are, people just confirming rumors. There's a lot of social media posts going around, and people call us, and I'm glad that they call us, because I rather than call us than repost it. But there are those that don't call us and repost it, and that's why we get all those calls. And I mean, that's what we're here for. That's why we train our volunteers to show up. Uh, I think right now we have about like 1,400 volunteer rapid responders to show up to rumors throughout Santa Clara County. Um, and we've, I mean, it's came on the news that the tactics that are being used right now are different. We're seeing a lot of arrests at people's ICE check-ins. We've seen a lot of arrests at people's court hearings. These are people doing it the right way. These are people, going to court, doing it the right way, and then they're getting arrested as they're doing it the right way. And so, I think one day we saw like 4 arrests in one day in San Jose, at the check-in. And yeah, and our attorneys, they do a great job in responding to this. It's not easy, especially because the majority of them are here in San Jose. Um, or San Francisco, and when somebody gets arrested, they're taken to Stockton, at least from our area, because there's no detention centers up north. So they take them to Stockton, and then they take them to the to Bakersfield Detention Center or something like that. And so for the attorney, compared to when we first launched in 2017, when somebody got arrested, they were taken to San Francisco. So the attorney would just go and be like, "Hey, I'm here to see this person," and they'll let them see him, and they have a consultation. And now it's like trying to find that person. Wait, where is he? Are they en route? Like, they sometimes we can't even talk to them till like they're already like processed in the detention center. And when we do get to talk to them, like at the Stockton field office over the phone, there's like an ICE agent standing behind them, and these so the attorney is trying to be cautious on not ask questions that are going to be self-incriminating, because I always tell people don't say nothing, like it's going to incriminate yourself. So it's just been very, very tricky to do that, and sometimes our attorneys are trying to find three people at once, and it's like so hard to like do all that. But yeah, we've been hit hard, and we think it's going to get worse, especially with all the executive actions being taken, all the, you know, revocation of parole that's happening. We're we feel it's going to get worse, and that's why we're thankful for our local government for putting funding into this effort.
Yeah, that's really scary, and I'm wondering also if you can talk about it. If you can't, that's totally fine. Which is, I'm wondering about your technology support. Like, what is required to do this work? Like, are you just using like Microsoft Excel, and like how do you find people? It's just like website after website. Like, what is the
Yeah.
the technology involved in tracking so many moving parts? And it's also just listening to you talk about it, I feel like I'm listening to some kind of, like, Marvel movie hero, like, you call this number and the agents, like, they're, like, out there verifying, trying to keep people safe, and then,
Yeah.
trying to find missing people,
Yeah.
it's this is real life, folks, right now.
It's we text people. We
Mhm,
text people when we get a call. We have them, a list of people divided by zip codes, and
mhm,
then we text them based on the zip code. You know, our responders are not trained to interfere with ICE. We're not telling them, "Hey, lay down," in front of the van. No, we're just there to be the body worn cameras that other local
mhm.
agencies
Like
have.
a legal observer, is
The
that the
league,
word?
yeah,
It's
yeah. Rapid
mhm,
responder, legal observer, we use them interchangeably, but yeah, pretty much people that show up to verify a rumor. If our responders do show up and ICE is there, we keep our distance and just record. That's
mhm,
all we do.
mhm,
San Jose police, every police agency in the country now has body worn cameras, right?
mhm,
Um, even CHP, like even other federal agencies I hear have camera. Like I think even in like state prisons and county jails, that they have that. And that's all the responders do. They're just there to be the eyes on ice, right? And that's all. They're not there to interfere. They're not, that's the first thing that we tell them, don't interfere. And so, we just want to make sure that people's constitutional rights are being, respected. If if somebody's arrested illegally, either by ICE forcing themselves into a home, then, just how you don't want police bursting into, you know, your house without, you allowing them. We want to make sure that the same rights apply for anybody. And a lot of the arrests we're seeing now are people that were let into the country. They showed up at the border and they were like, okay, come in, and now they're going after them. And so we just want to make sure we make that clear, to everybody, that we're not there to obstruct, we're not there to interfere. We always tell our rapid responders to stay in like public areas. Don't go right, like don't jump a fence to get somewhere, because then that's trespassing already. If ICE did that, then let them do it. Don't do it yourself. But yeah, we're just, again, we're just there to be the eyes on ice. Like we're not there to obstruct. We're just there to record, and they don't have body on camera, so we're doing that.
I had a question about the number they can call. So they can call when they spot ICE activity. Is this the same number they call if like, oh, I have a court date, I'm afraid. Is that the same number? Or like
Yeah,
what is this number and the rapid
yeah.
response network? Like what are all the things that you respond to?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a great question. You know, when we first launched, it was just like we even had it at the I think still on the recent, like we've switched cards like 3 times. But now it's just I think it says for emergency only, right? And so ideally people would just call us if a loved one was picked up by ICE, if somebody was visited by ICE but nobody was arrested, or if they see potential ICE activity somewhere. Um, Anybody at an imminent risk of an arrest, we want them to call us. If ICE knock on somebody's door, but the person didn't answer, they call us. We will give them a free consultation to see, do they have any remedies can do they apply for do they qualify for another kind of relief? Um, and so that's the main thing that we ask people to call us for, to report ICE activity, to report ICE arrests, um, and to um, and to what's it called? If they were visited by ICE but nobody was arrested. Now, with all the arrests happening at people's check-ins, we also want them to call us if they have a check-in within like 3 days, because we want you to talk to an attorney and assess uh, your risk of being arrested. So then we can give you a consultation and then we can prepare and maybe have an attorney go with you to that check-in. Um, but we've gotten calls for so many different stuff. We gotten calls for somebody complaining that their landlord was gonna, you know, kick them out because they wouldn't move the TV that was by the window. We had
Hmm.
people calling us to actually report undocumented people. Like, hey, I think my neighbor's undocumented. I need to
Oh my
report. And we're like,
goodness.
okay, this is not for that, right? We have people calling us for, for criminal attorneys. We have people calling us for they needed help with somebody to help them move their mattress to the outside of their house, like random stuff.
Mhm.
Now it's getting better, but I think we got a lot of those with during that pandemic.
Yeah.
But now it's more like, people are calling us because they need an attorney, and we do get a lot of calls of people saying, "Hey, like, I'm fighting an asylum case. I don't have an attorney." Well, unfortunately, like our attorneys are only for like emergency alerts or urgent alerts. But we still give them a list of other attorneys that we have vetted, and we feel like they're trusted attorneys, and to call them, but yeah, ideally it would just be for urgent or emergency reasons, but they never fail me to call for other stuff. I'm like, okay, I wonder how they connected this to, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
because a lot of people, they don't have the card in front of them. It's
Mhm.
something that their neighbor gave 'em, hey, you call this number if you need help with
Mhm.
probably something, and I
Yeah.
think that's how we get those calls.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah,
All right, last question before 2 hours. So, this one is if people wanna support this work,
yeah,
what can they do? Can
yeah,
they I think, you can probably use more volunteers if, like, people wanna donate. I don't know if you have, like, a legal defense fund for folks, and so
yeah,
what are all the ways that people can help out?
yeah. So for volunteers to become a rapid responder, to be alerted and to show up when there's a rumor of ICE activity, um, we want you can go to our social media pages, and it's rapid respond. Here, let me find it.
I'll also put in the show notes
Our
too.
our Instagram page is the SCC underscore rapid response network.
Mhm,
SCC underscore rapid response network, and it's our logo, the rapid response network. And the Facebook page is the same thing, Santa Clara Rapid Response Network. You'll find our logo. And that's where we post upcoming trainings. We have one coming up. This probably won't be released by then, but we have one coming up tomorrow. But we try to have one once a month, and for new people and those who signed up to be rapid responders already, we have monthly refreshers as well. Um, for funding, I mean, because it is a collaboration and there's not like it's not its own organization, so it doesn't, but I believe Amigos de Guadalupe, I think their website is Amigos Center or something like that. Uh, yeah, but the Amigos de Guadalupe Facebook page, I mean, website has a rapid response tab, and then you can click donate, or I think you just click donate and then you put what's it for, which could be rapid response network or
Mhm.
specifically
Okay.
legal team or something like that.
Got it.
But yeah, that's pretty much our ways to volunteer.
Okay, great. Thank you. I will definitely share that far and wide. Okay, so I think that's it. Unless there was anything you felt like we didn't touch on that you want to mention now.
I think there was something that I answered for Elizabeth that I would like to say in English too. And it's about you know, that the importance of people calling the network before, because the arrest happened in such small time. So so we really the main way to communicate to the network to report an ICE rumor is calling us. We get a lot of people that text the number, which we don't monitor 24/7 through text. When they call, our phones do ring, but a text, it doesn't come through that way. Or they let us know on our social media pages, and after that, like sometimes we don't see it to the next day, or even a text message. So it's very important for people to call us and instead of texting us. Um, and most ICE activities, so there's folks that might feel that we had posted on social media that we didn't see ICE activity, but they're convinced that there was ICE activity in certain location. And when we post, because we post on social media, when we post something, is because a rumor got traction. If one person calls us saying, "Hey, I think ICE is on this address," we show up, nothing is there. We call that person back, "Hey, nothing is there." And if we don't get no other calls about that, then we don't post it on social media because there's no point. Um, we post on social media to let if there was a rumor that was catching a lot of attention, and
Mhm.
we want to make sure people know that it wasn't ICE or it was ICE.
Yeah.
We never post before us verifying. We
Mhm.
always show up, and if it's getting traction, then we post it.
Yeah.
And there must be and there probably has been time where ICE was located in somebody's or ICE was at certain location. Nobody called us right away. Maybe they call us 45 minutes later. We show up and ICE is
Mhm.
not there no more.
Yeah.
And if that's catching traction, then we post something some hey, but we never say ICE wasn't there. We said when we show up, ICE wasn't there anymore, and we just remind people to call us. Because if it is an arrest that's happening, if ICE is one of the tactics they use is the way like if they're targeting somebody and they're waiting outside their home, if that person comes out, they block them in, they verify it's them, they put them in cuffs in the car and leave. That takes 10 minutes. 15 minutes. So by the time, somebody actually calls us like 30, 40 minutes later, we show up, there's nothing there, then we can't say they were there. Um, Now if the family calls us and be like, hey, my loved one was arrested, and then people saw and if you look at our social media page, we actually posted something I think like 4 or 5 days ago about a video going around that ICE was that arrested somebody outside somebody's home, but when we show up, it was over already. But ICE did detain somebody.
Mhm.
So then I believe they called us the same day. We connected them with an attorney, and then we did post on social media that when we showed up, they weren't there anymore, but somebody was arrested.
Yeah.
And it's very important for people to call us and right away. Like don't text us, don't message us on
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram, on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Mhm.
I mean, we have a huge audience now. I think before November, before November, I think we had like 800 followers.
Mhm.
We weren't really being active, again, because we were not seeing arrests, and now we have like I think 16,000 followers. And so in like 4, 5, 6 months, like it just blew up,
Yeah.
and that's why it's hard to keep up with all the messages, and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So we want people to call us, and we don't get notified, you know, like we don't get notified when there's every time there's a message or something.
Mhm.
So just call us, and that way we're able to respond right away. We're able to activate responders and attorneys right away as well.
Noted. I'll make sure to share that in our social media post as well. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I
Of
learned
course.
a lot. I'm really excited to get this conversation out for other folks. And just really want to thank you for your time and all the knowledge that you shared. I'm so glad we got to talk to you because your experience with the project like stretches, so far back to the beginning as well.
Thank you. No, it's honestly a pleasure to be here, and feel free to reach out if there's anything else that I can support with. And thank you for getting the word out there of the Rapid Response Network in Spanish and in English.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks, so that's a wrap for this episode. And again, if you are bilingual, you speak Spanish, and you want to check out the other interview in Spanish, let us know what you think. And if you've enjoyed the series, you want more, please consider, again, making a donation, hitting that like, follow button. And again, if you've enjoyed this series, you enjoy this podcast, and you want more, please consider making a donation, hitting that like, follow button, leave us a comment, or reach out to us if you want to volunteer. And check out our other podcasts, Only in San Jose, if you want to dive into city government. Until next time.